Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going over tomorrow's earlier MLB main slate. I'm going to be doing two videos of this. This is the one that starts at 4 p.m. Eastern. Anyway, before we continue, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate that. We're getting pretty close to 1,000, so you guys have been very awesome, so I really appreciate all the support. And anyway, if you want access to this cheat sheet and the pitching model and the hitting model and all that, it's got all this good stuff on here. I talk about it every time, so I'm not going to just ramble on about it, but if you want access to that, follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. Shoot me a DM asking for it. I'd be happy to send it over to you. And anyway, let's get into the slate. So SP1 today for me is clearly going to be Chris Sale at 11,600. I liked Eduardo Rodriguez yesterday, and so you better believe I'm going to be all about Sale in the same exact matchup. And Sale is obviously a much better pitcher than Eduardo Rodriguez, and arguably he's one of the best. He's arguably the best pitcher in the league. And the price is coming up, but honestly, he still might even be a value at this price, the way he's pitching. I mean, he's even getting complete game shutouts now, because the really thing about him, what usually is you're only going to get about 6 innings out of him, because he's not that efficient with the pitch count, but he has been recently. So definitely like Chris Sale a lot. If you take a look at his numbers, he's just been a lead all around, 2.96 xFIP. The strikeout rate's far and away the best on the slate, 35%. And the walk rate's also very low as well. Getting a lot of ground balls and not allowing a lot of hard contact, and he's a massive 290 favorite, only 3 runs implied against him. So I do love Chris Sale a lot. I'm going to be making him a priority in all my lineups. Even how enticing some of the bats are in this slate, I think Chris Sale is the most important spend up. Then SP2, I think there's a few options here. Shane Bieber at 9,600. Really, this is a perfect matchup versus Detroit for someone who struggles with lefties like Shane Bieber does, simply because they barely have any lefties, and the lefties they have aren't very good either. So if we look at some of his numbers, he's been pretty good this year. 3.4 xFIP, 30% K rate, which is up from last year. Doesn't walk a lot of guys at all, but the problem with him is he is going to allow some hard contacts, so the home runs have been an issue for him. But if we look at the matchup versus Detroit, they're striking out a 26% clip. They're very bad versus right-handed pitchers. One of the lowest team ISOs in the slate, lowest team WOBA, WRC plus, and just all that. And it's a decent pitcher's park as well. It's pretty neutral, but it's definitely not a hitter's park. So I definitely like Shane Bieber a lot. And then I also like Valdez here at 7,700. He doesn't go deep in the game, like, because he's just in the bullpen, so he's stretching out. But there is plenty of K upside in this matchup versus Toronto at home. He was pretty good last game out. I think he got 24 or 27 points. And I do like him to get the win here in this game as long as he can go 5 innings. And the Blue Jays just really struggle with lefties. So if we go to his numbers, if I can find him. So the model doesn't like him very much, but I'm going to give him a little bit more respect than this does. He's okay. I mean, numbers aren't going to like pop out to you, but he does get a lot of ground balls. He doesn't allow a lot of fly balls at all. And the hard contact's pretty low as well. And he's a pretty good favorite at 225 favorite and only 3.54 runs for the Blue Jays implied by Vegas. And the matchup's just good. They struggle with lefties, striking out 25% of the time and just low numbers all around. So I do think he is a valid option. And the one guy I want to talk about, I don't think he's on here just because of how new he is. But Dario Agrazal, something like that. So I just copied this little piece from the DK analysis on DraftKings. So he's got a 3.27 ERA through 12 starts this season across the two highest levels of the minors, and he also has a 20.2% strikeout rate with an excellent 3.5% walk rate. So that's just from DK. So the numbers, they don't sound too bad. In a matchup against Miami, I think that is pretty interesting. If you hear those jingles, it's just my dog running around. But so I think he's only 5,400. So I think that would be an interesting option. I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive in that tomorrow, and then I'll put a little bit more update on him, thinking if he's actually a valid option for tomorrow. So just someone to keep your eye on. And then at catcher, we have Chirinos, 4,800. Really, it's an insane price for him. I can't see myself doing it because I'm probably going to be spending up for I am going to be spending up for Chris Sale, so it's going to limit some of my bets. And I certainly don't want to prioritize Chirinos, but he is in a good spot, and he's got a good amount of power, and gets to face a not so good at all lefty. And then Roberto Perez at 4,000. Like I said yesterday, he's been surprisingly good, and he gets to face another terrible lefty in Soto. So if you look, I think it says right now that Buck Farmer is the starting pitcher. But I saw a tweet that from a Detroit beat reporter that Soto has been called up and he will start tomorrow in Soto, and it's a much better matchup for all the Indians going against Soto, who's one of the worst pitchers in the league. So I definitely like Roberto Perez, and he was really good last night. I think he got 21 points or something. So he's been doing good. And then a former Indian here in Gomes, 3,200. He's on the Nats now. But Clark is just a bad overall pitcher versus both sides of the plate, and he's got a low strikeout as well. A little bit more strikeout upside versus the righties for him, but still overall just bad numbers. He actually has given up a higher ISO to the righties. And then at first base, we have Carlos Santana at 4,900. I prefer him facing righties as I do with all the Indians that are switch hitters because they have quite a few switch hitters. But the matchup versus Soto just is going to make me look past that. And plus, I don't think Soto's going to last long anyway, so they should see a lot of the Tigers' bullpen, and that's a good mix of bad lefties and righties. So definitely love the Indians a lot. And then Yuli Gurriel, 4,100. I hate rostering this guy. Every time I roster him, he does absolutely nothing, but he's been pretty decent lately. And it's just another righty versus Richard, right? Or it might be Richard, but I'm just gonna go with Richard. And Richard's been very bad versus righties. Actually, I feel like it's Richard though. I don't want to say it wrong the whole time. I'm not sure though. But Matt Adams, 4,200. He hits righties well, and he pinched hit last night, so he should be in the lineup, I'd imagine, considering he's healthy enough. I know he had like an oblique injury, but it's a good sign that he's pinch hitting. So don't mind him if he's in the lineup. And then second base, Michael Chavis, 4,700. Don't get mad at me, Boston fans, if I misspelled that wrong, if I mispronounced that. But he won't be leading off with Betts back, assuming Betts is back. But love all the Sox line, as you're going to see soon. Then Brian Dozier at 4,300. Just love all the Nats tonight. I'll get into that later, I think, with a few other guys. Maybe not, but I already talked about Yan Gomes for the same reasons. And then Jason Kipnis, 3K. Just cheap, and we'll see a righty at some point in the lineup. And really, Soto doesn't scare me either. So I just love all the Indians, and he's very cheap. So I can probably see him being chalk anyway. And then at third base, Alex Bregman at 5,400. Love all the Astro righties versus Richard. And Brake has the best numbers of them all versus left-handed pitching. So if you can afford him, he's an elite play. But where I'm going to probably go is Jose Ramirez at 3,700. He's just too cheap for someone facing this Detroit team. I know he's been awful this year, but he's better than what he's doing. I mean, he might not be. He's not as good as he was last year. That was a ceiling year for him, but he's probably somewhere in the middle there, and he's just underperforming right now. And I think he's more of like a 4,400, 4,500 salary player. So at 3,700, give me that all day versus Soto and that Detroit bullpen. And he had a pretty good game last night as well too. And then we already talked about Gurriel and Frankie Lindor, 5,000. So like I've said a lot, love all the Indians, and he's the best of them all. Don't really need to go deep into that. Then Xander Bogaerts, 5,200. Bundy's given up a ton of power to righties this season, and as you're going to see, I love the Red Sox coming up here. Then if we need a punt, Jack Mayfield at 2,200. This could really open up your lineup, especially if you're going up at Sale, which I think you should. And I think he's also second base eligible. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. It's gross, but dirt cheap versus the lefty. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I said that right. Dirt cheap righty versus Richard. And then in the high-priced outfield, we have the whole Boston outfield. So just love the Boston Bats tonight versus a home run prone pitcher in Bundy and a bad bullpen. My favorite play out of these would be JD Martinez, just because he's been very good recently and he's coming off a double down game. But really like the whole lineup. And I will say Mookie Betts does have 4 homers off of Bundy, so that's a better BVP play. And then in the mid-range outfield, Jordan Luplow, I have him tagged as a core play today at 4,300. He's mashing lefties this season, and this is one of the worst lefties in the league in Soto, so definitely like Luplow. And then Juan Soto at 4,700. So I do like the Nats stack a lot tonight versus Clark, and Soto seems a little underpriced here. He's usually in the 5K range, so I think you're getting a good value here. And Clark's K rate versus lefties, I believe it's like at 13%, so it's pretty bad. So you should be putting the ball in play. And then Oscar Mercado, 4,100. He's been good start the year ever since he's got called up, and he's really just another Cleveland righty, and I believe he should hit around second. So I think that's a good spot for him. And then in the value outfield, there really wasn't much I liked below like 4K. So I do have a couple of 4K guys here in Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun. Just always like those guys versus lefties. And then Kristen Stewart, 3,700, cheap lefty versus Bieber, because Bieber will give up lefty power. Then if we go to some of the core plays here, I have Chris Sale, 11,600. Definitely going to get him in my lineups. And then I got a pair of Indians here with J Ram at 3,700 and Leplo at 43. And then, like I said with the weather, just figure it out on Twitter. If I find anything too serious, I'll put it in this cheat sheet here. And then in the top stacks, I have the Indians, the Nationals, the Red Sox, and the Astros. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video. I'm going to try to do another cheat sheet for the later main slate for you guys, because there's no NASCAR video, so I should have time to be able to do it, because I'm not going to be having to do 3 videos for 2 different sports tomorrow. So anyway, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, really appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and good luck.